Good day, good afternoon, good night. How you doing? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Today we are going to have a serious conversation. Well, maybe not a serious conversation, but there's going to be a serious talk happening here. Now, of course, I'm only doing the talking, but just stay tuned. Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back again. Okay. I hope you're good. I hope those in your life are treating you well. Well. And if they're not, then ask yourself, what did I do? Or maybe you did nothing. Maybe you've been the good one all along. Maybe nothing is wrong with anything that you've ever done, and things happening to you are just because people are jealous of you. Just messing with y'all. Okay, so we are on episode, can you guess? 166. All right, well, just remember this podcast is a podcast that is for entertainment purposes only. This is not a Christian podcast, but it is a podcast by a Christian, therefore, same rules apply. I'm just not professing to teaching or preaching, pretending I'm a minister or anything like that. I'm just a regular guy with a podcast. You know what I mean? All right, then. Episode title: The way you say my name, making me feel like I'm that guy. Welcome to episode 166 of You're Probably Right. I am MCM, and today we're talking about something that hits deep. A feeling that a lot of us crave but rarely talk about. It's the indescribable moment when someone says your name in a way that makes you feel like you're special. Like you're that guy. Whether it's the way your partner says it, a friend who truly sees you, or a stranger who recognizes your value. There's something powerful about being seen in a way that makes you feel exceptional, even if there's actually nothing exceptional about you, even if you are straight clad mediocre and not excellence. Today, we're diving into why the feeling or that feeling matters, what it tells us about ourselves, and how we can give that kind of energy back to people in our lives. You know, it's kind of like I'm not really going to get into this, but, just a thought. It's kind of funny. I always have these ideas of podcasts, and then I start talking, then I get another. Maybe I won't get into it. But yes, it matters how your name is said. Okay, just gonna go through the ideas, and I guess you can see if you can pick anything out. I understand that there's a lot of episodes so far, 166, mostly of me talking. Very rarely audio. Very rarely video. I think there's only about 3 or 4 videos, maybe 5, that there's actually any visuals that I personally made. I mean, who knows? This is an evergreen podcast. So right now you could be listening to this and you're seeing visuals on exactly what I'm saying right now. But when I was making this was strictly an audio podcast, audio only. I have a goal, and then I might start flipping a few things. So you never know. Maybe it's out there now. Maybe, just maybe. The emotional weight of names. There's many of us who love our names and many of us who hate our names. Many of us who are indifferent about our names, and then many of us who just think that our names are simply our names, and many people are like you and like me, and it's just something that your parents came up with. What does it mean when someone says your name in a certain way? We explore that emotional depth and psychological impact of recognition. I don't know. It just, it's like if your name was, here's a joke. Say your name was Karen. And it's like, Karen, I've had enough of you, Karen. Karen, you bothering people, Karen. Or it could be, hey, Karen, missed you. You had a rough day today, did you? I understand, Karen. I see exactly how you feel. I understand the problems and the situations that are torturing your life right now. But I know that there's going to be one day, Karen. You know what I mean? Anyhow, the voice, the emotional weight of names. As I was saying, there's some people who have names that they can't wait to get to a certain age so they can change them. Sometimes it's a hope that you have for your child that is born, and you give them a name, or maybe the name has emotional weight because it's a parent's name or your name that you've given your child, or you have your parents' name or your grandparents' name, or you have it, you're the third. And we're given these names, so when we are first referred to, generally the name means something because we're used to hearing it. There's different ways of saying one person's name. I remember the movie, what was it called? Something Fish. I can't remember. It was a movie with Denzel Washington, and the main character besides him was Fish, or at least his last name was Fish. Antoine Fisher, that's what it was. And he said that this lady who used to mistreat him in a foster care, him and 3 other boys, and she used to call them the N-word. And they all could tell, even though she referred to one of them and all of them separately, the N-word. And they heard it so much and so often. They knew her so much, her attitude, her demeanors, her behaviors, her little idiosyncrasies. Everybody loves to say that. So that when she said the name, she knew exactly who she was talking to. Sometimes someone saying your name can just make everything horrible, or it can make everything right. Many of you know what I mean. Recognition as a form of affirmation. Hearing your name said with warmth can be powerful. It can be an amazing validation that you are you and there's no one else like you. And even if they happen to have the same name as you, for some reason you embody that name more than every other person with that name. Why do we crave this? and how does it shape our self-esteem? Um, you know, Personally, I would say that I have a name that is very popular. My first name is very, very popular, and it is also the name of, I could probably name at least 10 people who are probably worth, each of them, over $100 million, or have records and this, that, and the other. It's, the point is, I'm getting off track, but there's something behind that name. And I can tell you, with a person with a very popular name of stars, or not even of stars, just of very successful people, there's something that goes with it, you know? Or when people, if you have a name that can be broken down into less syllables and, still mean almost the same thing, but for some reason, like, just having the name, and somebody calling your name because you're important, and your ears perk up. It's, even if you have the same name as someone else and somebody says it, or you even say it, for some reason it's just more powerful, because it's what you've heard. It's one of the first things you probably ever heard in your life was your name. And to hear someone else call your name, even if they could be talking about 3 or 4 other people because they have the same name as you, your ears perk up. I think it's like embedded in us. So I believe names do matter, what we call our children, and it's, important, I think, what we allow other people to call us too. The difference between saying a name and feeling it. There's a difference between someone calling your name out of habit versus calling it in a way that means something deeper. If you go back through your Rolodex of time and think of some of the people who have called your name, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a mother, maybe it's a father, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a child because they call you by their first name for whatever reason. You've decided to do this to yourself. But it's like you get a different feeling when different people call your name. When some people call your name, you feel like it's just a joke. When some people call your name, you're expected to be on, would be the best way I would put it. When some people call your name, you know that they don't think much of you. And when they say it, they might as well be calling you the N-word. Or people try to belittle you, or if you're a person like me who has a name that's very popular, especially with very successful people, then it's almost like they're holding you to that extent, or they say it as a joke, because how could you possibly have the name the same as these other popular people, very successful people? And when someone says it, if someone really loves you, or I would say that even if the person doesn't really love you, but you think that they really care about you, or they think that, how about that? They think that they care about you, or they love you, or whatever. There's a certain way that this person will say your name. They'll say it differently than most people, and you'll hear it from their tone of the way that they speak. You'll hear it differently, and it'll mean so much. Most of us, if we go back through the Rolodex of time, can hear our mother, hear our fathers calling our names. And I can remember that my father used to say my name differently than anyone else I knew. And it's like your whole, not only ears perk up when your parent says it, for me, my father says it. it just, I don't know, validated me as a man. It's kind of weird, but you know. And when my mother would say it, it's like she would say it with like a sense that I have responsibility, and that of course I'm expected to do well. Kind of, can't really explain it. How names reflect relationships. We talk about how the tone, inflection, and context of your name being used can indicate how someone feels about you. And you know, it's for me, it's like the name Jesus, for instance. And everybody else may not feel this way, but this is how I tend to feel about it. The name Jesus means that I have a savior. The name Jesus is the name that means Emmanuel, that means God with us. But then I've heard people, who would be angry. This happened to me at work, where they were angry because I was using colloquialisms. I can never say that word properly, but they would of colloquialisms. Oh, colloquialisms! I can't say it. And it's funny that I've learned in this society, in this city, in this country, and because now that for some reason half or part of society has grown a conscience over how their ancestors used to refer to other people or say different things about people's cultures, and now all of a sudden they are not going to do it. They're ashamed that they did it, and now they're stopping everyone who had nothing to do with their future doing these things. But anyways, I mean, well, they're present, I should say. But the whole point is, it's like I would hear these people saying, the Lord's name in vain. Like they would just shout out the name of Jesus, and they'd say Jesus Christ, and they would shout it, like if they were saying mother effer or something like that. Like it's the same thing. They're using it as a swear word, and it's like when you hear it, you cringe as a Christian. But then not only do you cringe, but you wonder, could they have this much disdain for the name of Jesus that they would use it as a swear word? Or those people who say things like just shout out Jesus in a negative way, or say Jesus Murphy. Who is that? The names don't even go together. And even if there was somebody with that first and last name, there's obviously something strange about that whole situation itself, unless it was just somebody's name and he was somebody special and we just don't know the historical significance, which is very possible. But I believe the only name that is above every other name is Jesus. And I think that when the name is said, there should be some reverence, some respect, some love when that name is said. So when you hear your name and people are able to give off those vibes of love, of care, of respect, you are before me, and a whole bunch of other things that make someone feel special, and they're able to express that through their intonation or inflection of just simply how they say your name. Or again, those same people can make you feel less than zero when they say your name. I used to have somebody do that to me. They would if we're good, then really good, they'd say my short version of my name. And if they want to demean me and make me feel like I'm nothing, then they'll say my full name with a strange type of tonation to it. And it's really weird that people can do this, but Yeah, they do it. We do it. Next, personal stories impact. You know, it's kind of weird when I look back and hear my name, or I remember people used to say my name in a weird way, that, like, they would actually use my last name to belittle me, and for some reason it worked. It became a big thing. But just to let you know, like, this whole little short episode is mainly here to tell you to watch how you use other people's names. We obviously can think of Will Smith saying, keep my wife's name out your mouth. But that just goes to show how important names are, because it makes us feel a way when we're called, when people refer to us, if they're belittling us, like, I guess if they're using, your full name, or those of you who have a middle name, or just they say just your last name to make you feel cool, or one of the guys, they might even put a little, they might shorten it, or they might put a EING at the end of it, or a ER at the end of it, just something to make you feel a part of the crew sometimes. Or they can do the same thing and oust you and make you feel like your name has no respect underneath it, behind it. It's kind of weird how that goes. The importance of tone and intent. Again, it's the same thing, and I'm beating a dead horse, I understand that, but just to let you know, if you can begin to say people's name with respect when you use it, so that you're not just throwing it around. Now, our names have no importance close to Jesus, but I don't know if it makes you feel a way. Like, I've had to call other people, young people even, with my same name, and for some reason, I guess depending on how many you know, but for some reason, for me, it doesn't happen that often where there's a youngster maybe with the same name in it. I think sometimes it gives you a different feeling, because you're saying your own name and you're referring to somebody else and they have the same name, and it's like right away that means something. And I guess that's how the political parties, I'm Democrat, I'm Republican, I'm liberal, I'm conservative, I'm Democrat, like these names, depending on how people say it, it could make you sound like you're about it and everything's good and you're being, special somehow, or somehow special, not being special. But then there's also the ways where it can just sound like pure torment and disrespect. So I believe there is a psychological root, behind it, and that's why it's so special to us. And I believe there's just some sort of amazingness in it, and that's why I believe that as some, it's kind of like when you do name your children, you're hoping, unless you're just naming the child by the sound of it, and it just has a ring to it, even if it doesn't have a good meaning behind it. But there's something about naming your child a name that you hope will reflect the person they will grow to be. And yeah. Anyhow, that was just a little bit. But I can tell you, lastly, just for the couple 1 minute that I am going to say something here. Um, it is just so cool and just think about it. Maybe you failed everything you've ever wanted to do. Maybe you're not even half of the person you'd like to be or you thought you would be. Maybe you don't make as much money as you thought you were going to make, or you didn't make a catch as far as your spouse or whatever it is as much as you thought you had or you were worthy of having. But there's just something about someone who can make you feel like you're important, even if you're not important, by just simply saying your name. And that's why I believe that names do matter. And it does matter how you say someone's name. So think about it when you're naming another individual, another human being, and then also think about it when you're saying someone else's name. Because you could bring so much negativity and hurt and pain just by how you say someone's name. All right, I think we've gone far enough. This is MCM, and I'm signing off for the podcast called You're Probably Right. Check you next time. Peace out. Hey, come check out You're Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 ducks. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.